We are going to do it. We're going to build this parliament, and we're going to do it the right way.
Keep watching for more details. Hello, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. On the show today, we tell you more about the Houses of Parliament design competition, talk about other developments taking place in downtown Kingston, and share safe practices for using pesticides. It's 30 minutes of information you don't want to miss.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, May 24. Government is reporting a significant decline in the country's poverty rate. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says poverty fell to 17.1% in 2016. That's 4 percentage points lower than the 21.1% recorded in the 2015 calendar year.
So just for the sake of emphasis, Mr. Speaker, the rate of poverty, the incidence, fell from 21 to 17, and that fall of 4 percentage points represents a 19% drop in the incidence of poverty, which must be considered good news for all Jamaicans. The rate of poverty, Mr. Speaker, in 2016 was therefore the lowest since 2009.
Dr. Clark was making a statement to Parliament on Tuesday where he reported on data released by the Planning Institute of Jamaica as part of the Jamaica Survey of Living Conditions conducted annually by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica. Broken down, the figures reveal that rural poverty witnessed the most significant fall, going down by 8 percentage points. The incidence of poverty in the Kingston metropolitan area fell from 14.3 to 11.9%, while other towns witnessed an increase from 14.7 to 16%. While seeking to address the disparity in those figures, he says government is serious about continuing the broader trend of reduced poverty rates.
Poverty, Mr. Speaker, is reduced as unemployment declines. This government has been and is therefore focused on job creation, and the unemployment rate has been falling steadily from a high of the high mid-teens in 2013, steadily to 9.6% in January 2018.
He says poverty is also being tackled through focused attention on institutionalized inflation targeting, expansion of agricultural output, and increased social protection. Meanwhile, the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, reported this week that the country's economic growth prospects is generally positive in the short to medium term. In the first quarter of the calendar year, real GDP is estimated to have grown by 1.2%, reflecting a 3% growth in the goods-producing industry and a smaller bump of 0.7% for the services industry. The single best performing sector for the period was mining and quarrying, which grew by an estimated 25.5%. The next quarter, April to June, is projected to witness baseline economic growth in the range of 1.5 to 2.5%. Director General of the PIOJ, Dr. Wayne Henry, revealed his agency's projections at its quarterly media briefing on Tuesday.
The growth projection for fiscal year 2018-19 is within the range of 2% to 3%. The prospects for growth in the near term are positive. For our part, maintaining focus and discipline in our efforts to facilitate stronger economic growth is key.
The Agriculture Ministry will be spending over $52 million to upgrade irrigation systems for farmers in St. Catherine and Clarendon. There will also be investments in the development of the Essex Valley irrigation system in St. Elizabeth. Minister without portfolio, J.C. Hutchinson, made the announcement at a recent irrigation and sensitization seminar held at the Denbigh Agricultural Showground in Clarendon.
With climate change and insufficient irrigation being two of the factors affecting the agricultural sector, the future of sustaining and expanding this sector is going to be heavily dependent on our ability to improve and manage our water resources, and in particular, our irrigation systems.
Government successfully settled all judgment debts due at the end of the 2017-2018 fiscal year. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck made the announcement during his contribution to the sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Over $1.3 billion was paid out for 303 matters for which funding was provided by the Ministry of Finance.
All matters submitted from the Attorney General's chambers were paid up, and indeed, Mr. Speaker, up to Friday last week, Friday the 18th of May, we were able to pay up all the settled debts, 56 of them paying over $78 million, so we owe nobody anything.
The 2017-2018 payments included compensation to 418 persons affected by the May 2010 Security Forces operations in West Kingston. The Justice Ministry paid out more than $55 million to victims directly, while nearly $135 million was transferred to the Administrator General's Department to compensate the estates of deceased persons. Looking ahead, Minister Chuck is urging public servants to act with care and precaution when exercising their duties to ensure they do not incur legal costs that have to be repaid from public funds. And finally, the University of the West Indies has developed a gender policy to formalize its commitment to gender justice and establish a framework for its implementation. The policy, which was led by the university's Institute for Gender and Development Studies, was launched on Tuesday at the UWI regional headquarters in Kingston. It is intended to be a blueprint for incorporating the issues of gender and development and to express the fundamental principles deemed vital to sustainable growth and development throughout the Caribbean. The move has been welcomed by the ministry responsible for gender affairs. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica, I can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
We are one step closer to having a new Parliament building. Local architects at home and in the diaspora have been asked to submit their designs for the new complex. The Houses of Parliament design competition was launched on May 17, and we have the details.
This is indeed a historic moment for downtown Kingston and Jamaica. Indeed, it is transformational. There is no doubt that this Houses of Parliament design competition will stir national pride among the architects who will be entering the competition.
Jamaica will have its new Houses of Parliament conceived, designed and built by Jamaicans.
For this all-important design competition, the government of Jamaica, supported by their planning agency, the UDC, and the government as a whole, are inviting Jamaicans living here and in diaspora to submit their creative ideas of what the Houses of Parliament will look like. Just imagine that whether you are an established architect or an upcoming architect, you have the opportunity to write the history of what this space and by extension of what downtown Kingston will look like in the future. So we look forward to all the entries that will be coming in.
Local architects can log on to ourjaparliament.com to access and complete registration forms. The registration period ends June 14. This follows a 5-week consultation period between the UDC and architects on the purpose of the Parliament building and the build-out of other spaces. After which, architects will have a 2-month window from July 20 to September 17 to submit their design entries.
The winner, who will be a Jamaican or a Jamaican team, will play a significant role in writing history. We are proud to have as our competition patron Gordon Gill, who will provide professional guidance throughout the competition. The evaluation committee and jury is chaired by none other than Mr. Mark Raymond, who is also chairman of the Association of Commonwealth Societies of Architects. The government is collaborating to ensure that the final design meets the requirements of all parliamentarians and has therefore formed a bipartisan parliamentary oversight committee chaired by none other than the Honorable Carl Samuda, Minister in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
There's no doubt that this development will change the culture of the area, the mindset of the people, and the perception of downtown. All this change starts with this competition. That is what is symbolic and significant.
This project is what we all as architects dream about. This project that will help to define Jamaican architecture. This project that will refine our civic and cultural representations. Architects solve problems and make them beautiful. Lead by design. So let's get to work.
It is going to be bipartisan, multi-sectoral, and it will be done in the best interest of all the peoples of Jamaica. We are going to do it. We're going to build this parliament, and we're going to do it the right way.
Now let's hear what some of you are saying about the new Parliament building. Architects are also telling us why they're looking forward to participating in the design competition.
I would like to see a Jamaican open concept which will reflect on the whole musical position of Jamaica, something that will look Caribbean.
Ultimately, what we want to see is a totally integrated design that integrates organically communities and persons who are present here, and allow all Jamaicans really to own this space as one that they can feel is really Jamaica.
This is a really important civic project for Jamaica. I thought it was really important for us architects to be a part of this. In fact, I took my entire firm here this morning because this is a moment in history. So I'm really excited to be a part of this competition.
It's certainly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's significant. We're talking about the Parliament building of Jamaica, and a building like this is going to be visible to every Jamaican for a very, very, very long time. This is significant for me and for my company and for everybody who is going to be partnering with me.
This is a very high-profile project. It's very visible. Synergy is very much involved in the cultural aspects of Jamaica. We would want to be involved in something like this to bring back that level of pride to Jamaica.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Protect yourself from the bite of this mosquito. A message from the Ministry of Health.
The development of the National Heroes Park is part of the redevelopment plan for downtown Kingston. We continue our journey a little further into the city to show you completed developments, those that are already taking place and some to come on stream.
The Urban Development Corporation, in association with the Jamaica Information Service, presents Urban Scope.
1962 marked the beginning of a proud and free era of independence for Jamaica.
This tiny yet Talawan nation was now free to create its own destiny.
6 years later, The Urban Development Corporation was created to make development happen when and where it's needed within the context of national priorities. One such area was the Kingston waterfront from Bank of Jamaica to the east to the Kingston Craft Market in the west. A post-independent Jamaica and by extension Kingston was by no means fully developed, and so by walking the streets of the capital city, one would see and learn much about Jamaica, its history and culture. Downtown Kingston in particular tells that story very well, having given birth to rocksteady and reggae music. With many of the island's most historic buildings and monuments lining the streets, downtown Kingston is also a bustling business district with busy roadways and crowded sidewalks. This rich history is one such impetus for the Urban Development Corporation UDC, which has been spearheading the development of downtown Kingston. Partnering with both local and international organizations, plans are underway towards championing the transformation of downtown Kingston and to revitalize the area while paying homage to the UNESCO designation of Kingston as a creative music city. In 1995, the UDC was entrusted with its tax incentive program, and that pulled investments in the downtown Kingston area. A major investor is the multinational corporation Digicel, which constructed its global headquarters on prime waterfront property sold by the UDC. Other developments that have gained traction include the construction of Grace Kennedy's multi-story complex on Port Royal Street, made possible on lands sold to them by the UDC. Grace also renovated a building on Harbour Street for use as its financial center. And nearby, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade is finalizing plans for the construction of its headquarters on property along the Kingston waterfront, close to the Jamaica Stock Exchange, on lands made available by the UDC. The redevelopment of downtown is being guided by the UDC's Downtown Kingston and Port Royal Redevelopment Plan 2030. It's being implemented on a phase-by-phase basis and is aligned with the Vision 2030 Jamaica National Development Plan. This redevelopment plan is giving energy to an updated development order for Kingston as well as guidelines for land use and zoning. Aspects of the UDC plan already in motion include the construction of a bus park, one component of a multimodal transport center for the city. There's also the upgraded St. William Grant Park and the redevelopment of the National Heroes Park. Over in the Market District, significant development is evident with the build-out of the Chapel Lane Market. The UDC took another step in partnering with Digicel and the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation, the KSAC, to ensure electrical upgrades were completed on the reconstructed Coronation Market. The UDC sees downtown Kingston as the city of possibilities, the ideal location for work, home, leisure, cultural immersion, and entertainment.
Thank you, Lord, for what you've done for a woman like me.
UDC's Fireworks on the Waterfront is a fixed event that's being used by the UDC to promote family entertainment and stimulate an active nightlife in downtown Kingston. Adding to this is the construction of Festival Marketplace by the UDC, an eatery space catering to day and night patrons who will also benefit from the nearby craft market. And for a more in-depth cultural experience, there's the newly renovated Simon Bolivar Cultural Center in the heart of Parade, designed and built by the UDC. The center, managed by the Institute of Jamaica, complements other cultural facilities located in the Parade area, such as Liberty Hall, the restored headquarters of national hero, the Right Excellent Marcus Messiah Garvey. The Urban Development Corporation, demonstrating commitment to the redevelopment of downtown Kingston. To learn more about the work of the Urban Development Corporation, call 656-8031 or visit their website at udcja.com. You may also follow the UDC on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, or visit their information center on the ground floor, Kingston Mall, downtown Kingston.
Pesticides are useful but dangerous substances, so it is important for those administering the harmful and at times lethal chemicals to wear protective gear and do so with care. It is for this and other reasons the Pesticides Control Authority is enforcing its safety and regulation measures.
Pest control practices using hazardous substances require us to take necessary safety precautions to protect our health. Any misguided idea as to the danger that can result from toxic pesticides must be dismissed from our minds, as we can be caught off guard by the lengthy period that might elapse before any signs of illness sets in. At the level of government, the Pesticides Control Authority (PCA) is the entity enforcing the necessary safeguards by regulating importation, manufacturing, sale, and use of pesticides.
The issue of pesticides usage poses several benefits to our society, but also can pose several challenges also, because for every positive that it represents in terms of controlling adverse conditionalities, it also, if used improperly, can lead to challenges within the environment and also affect the citizens, the persons who use or persons who are exposed.
The Pesticides Control Authority partners with local and international bodies to fulfill its regulatory functions. That includes establishing the conditions under which these substances can be safely administered.
Our website www.caribpesticides.net has a list of all registered products, and each month the board of the Pesticides Control Authority considers new products, and when they are approved, they are added each month to that website list. And occasionally we will remove products that were previously registered, and that's a monthly process as well. In addition, the Pesticides Review Committee goes through and looks at the more toxic ones and decides whether to recommend to the board to phase them out or not.
We have 48% of products which are used in agriculture sector, which belongs to the class 4, which is least toxic products. On opposite end, the most toxic products, we have only 1.2% remaining in the system.
The most toxic pesticides are restricted and only authorized persons are allowed to use them, having been trained and certified by the authority. The PCA also certifies private applicators of pesticides, including farmers. Persons handling and applying pesticides are required to follow all the instructions on the label and must wear the designated safety gear. At hand at all times should be protective clothing, gloves, boots, and eyeglasses. Application should be done in a manner that limits human contact.
We have seen persons being poisoned, basically, because of adverse exposure. Take, for example, rodents and the substance that is used to get rid of rodents. If it's placed in the wrong place, it does affect those who are exposed to it. And in fact, the data that I've seen show that on average about 40 persons a year are affected adversely because of the inappropriate application of that particular pest control substance.
Pesticides approved by the PCA are more easily monitored to ensure health and safety, but those that are illegally concocted and made available commercially or imported pose significant risks for unsuspecting consumers.
The problem with these, as far as the persons buying it should be concerned, is they don't really know what they are getting. So for example, we have bought a rat bait that we saw being sold that is locally manufactured illegally, and when tested in the lab there was nothing in there that could kill a rat. So the persons buying that product were only feeding the rats. The other problem we have is that there are illegal pesticides coming in through the ports, or through other avenues, I suppose. Biggest problem are the black mosquito coils. The problem with them is that we have not got any application to have them registered, so we don't really know how how much of a health risk they are. But we have got some reports that especially children and people with respiratory problems have been affected. In fact, they are probably just too good. So they affect not only the mosquitoes and the flies, but the humans as well. Some of them contain active ingredients that we know that are a real problem, and even if an application came in to register them, we would not want to do so. Then there's some other things such as this chalk, which a child would think is a regular piece of chalk that they see at their school. Then there are some things that are in plastic bottles. These are very common. Again, the wristbands, that's not a registered product.
Persons are also placed at high risk when products are removed from their original manufacturer's container and repackaged inappropriately.
And again, how does a person buying something like that know that what they are getting is the real thing?
Even within the household, it's a dangerous practice to transfer pesticides to things like soda bottles or plastic bags for storage.
Unfortunately, children in the home can get a hold of it. And children end up in hospital all the time because of that problem, particularly eating rat bait.
It has to be locked away and properly labeled. We also recommend to the farmers use very simple, inexpensive methods of storage. You don't need to be very, elaborate or fancy. You can use just maybe old shelf of refrigerator or old filing cabinet or just simply wooden box.
For its part, the Pesticides Control Authority regularly collects samples of local and imported agricultural foods to test for residual pesticide levels. Farmers are encouraged to do their own due diligence by first determining the percentage of pesticide to use and following the label instruction for things such as dilution rates and the correct time to spray. The PCA provides simplified information to help in this process.
We have done a mini survey to determine what possible practices the farmers are doing that could be causing the problem, and then we are going to be training them specifically in those.
Farmers can also minimize the use of pesticides by practicing biological and cultural control methods, such as barrier crops, sticky traps, and crop rotation. Whether for commercial use, on the farm, or in the home, make pesticide use a last resort. Or, failing that, make it a priority to handle pesticides safely, because the life saved could just be your own. For more information, you can visit the Pesticides Control Authority website at caribpesticides.net. You can also email pca@cwjamaica.com.
We have come to the end of our show, but certainly not the end of our connection. Just click on our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. Do join us again tomorrow for another program. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.